It's not fair, is it? Some guys eat pizza every day and still have abs. But if you so much as look at a slice of bread, your belly grows. Sure, genetics play a role, but they only load the gun. It's your lifestyle that pulls the trigger. The fact is, these guys are doing a few simple things that you're not. How do I know? Because 6 years ago, I lost 50 pounds and got in the best shape of my life. And since then, I've helped hundreds of men do exactly the same. So turn off your notifications, full screen the video, and I'll take you through them one by one. The first one might surprise you because hardly anybody knows this, but they're thinking more. Your brain is actually the most metabolically active organ in your body. That means it's responsible for burning about 20% of your daily calories. So if someone is more engaged, solving problems, working a high-stress job, constantly using their brain, they're actually burning more calories at rest. It's not the main reason that they're lean, but if they're doing this every single day of the week for months, years, even decades, it all adds up. If someone is thinking more, it's usually because they're busier. And if they're busier, they're more distracted. And if they're more distracted, that means they're not constantly thinking about food. And if they're not constantly thinking about food, they might forget to eat or skip meals accidentally. Meanwhile, if you're sitting around doom scrolling on your phone in zombie mode, that's low energy brain use. And it's usually paired with snacking. Think about this as well. These social media apps, they're engineered to flood your brain with dopamine. And that has the ability to knock your hunger hormones, which are called leptin and ghrelin, out of balance. As a result, your leptin comes down and your ghrelin goes up. That's not good. Number two, they eat more protein. Protein doesn't just help you build muscle. It helps lower that hunger hormone we just spoke about called ghrelin. And it does this because protein is the hardest of the three macronutrients out of protein, carbs, and fat for your body to digest, break down, and process. So the protein ends up sitting in your stomach for longer, filling your stomach, expanding the walls of your stomach, and sending a signal all the way from your stomach up to your brain, telling your brain that you are full. And when that happens, when your brain gets that signal, it lowers the amount of ghrelin in your bloodstream, so you don't have those cravings. But protein is a triple threat because as well as helping you to build muscle and lower your ghrelin levels, it also has the highest thermic effect of food. And this means that roughly 10 to 20% of the calories in the protein that you've eaten is burnt just from digesting it. So 200 calories of protein is actually about 160 to 170 net. Number three, they drink more water. This one sounds so simple, but it's huge. Water supports every metabolic process in your body, and even mild dehydration slows it all down. And when I say mild, I'm just talking about 1 to 2%. If you get lethargic, you move less. And if you move less, you burn fewer calories, which is going to make it harder to stay lean. It's also a very powerful appetite suppressant because sometimes you're not hungry, you're just thirsty. Plus, the lean guy often has the habit of water before coffee. Again, it's just little rituals like that that compound over time to have a massive influence. Let's get this out of the way. Number four, they have more muscle. Muscle is a metabolic cheat code. 10 to 15 extra pounds of lean mass burns hundreds more calories every day, even if you're just lying on the sofa. Again, think of it like compound interest. More muscle now makes everything easier later. And that's why the guy who's lifted consistently for years can stay lean without tracking his calories. Number five, they move more. Whether it's walking, taking the stairs, playing with their kids, gardening, having more with their partner, fidgeting, these guys move more than you. And as a result, they have a higher NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is all the calories that you burn between rest and exercise. In other words, it counts for everything that you do outside of the gym. These tiny actions burn way more calories over the course of the day than your 45-minute workout does. The lean guy might not train more than you. In fact, he probably doesn't, but he moves more without even thinking about it. Number six, they go to bed on time. These guys aren't chasing the next dopamine hit by scrolling on the phone while Netflix is on in the background. They know that sleep isn't just crucial for their aesthetics, but for their hormone health as well. Good sleep equals better hunger control, more energy to move, more motivation to train, and even better insulin sensitivity. And most guys who stay lean aren't running on 5 hours sleep and 3 coffees. They prioritize sleep like it's a part of their training, because it is. You see, what these guys have done by moving more, going to bed on time, drinking more water, eating more protein, and even thinking more is build better habits. But more important than that, they've made these habits daily non-negotiables. And how have they done that? Well, that leads us nicely on to number 7. They have a better mindset. These guys aren't trying to lose 20 pounds by summer. They're not buying into fad diets or looking for shortcuts. They don't panic and get emotional when the scales jump up a couple of pounds like a woman might. They take ownership of the situation and understand that if they're not getting the results that they want, they must have done something wrong. But they don't dwell on it. They analyze, they learn, and then they get back to work the next day. They don't let one bad day spiral into a bad week. And they're not doing this for vanity reasons. In fact, they're doing it for sanity reasons. Feeling good is more important than looking good to these guys. But the good news is that the looking good comes as a byproduct. They realize that they're lucky to be able to exercise, and they might not always have this privilege. And they see the work as worthwhile because they're future-proofing themselves against being frail or sick when they're older. Another way to say this is that these guys understand trade-offs. They aren't always motivated. They don't always want to work out or eat clean, but they know that short-term pain leads to long-term gain. In other words, they've reframed the sacrifice as an investment. Number 8, they have a healthier relationship with food. These guys aren't trying to starve themselves. They see their food as fuel. They recognize that the food they're eating is what gives them the energy to get up, to move, and to burn the calories that you need to do to stay lean. But they also know that if they move more, they won't just burn more calories, they'll feel better for it. This is probably the most common mistake I see. Even when guys sign up to my coaching program, I will give them a very specific calorie target, which is putting them in a slight, normally around a 500 calorie deficit. Most guys will take that target that I've given them and then subtract another 500. So my job is not telling them to eat less or necessarily even to move more. The first thing I'm trying to get them to do is actually eat more. I understand the temptation of extreme calorie deficits because we all want the results yesterday. But if you do that, all that's going to happen is you'll crash your metabolism and you'll tank your energy levels. And remember point number 1, your brain is the most metabolically active organ in your body. So if you are not feeding your brain with enough calories, you will literally just shut down. Number 9, they understand the value of generational health. This is a big one. These guys realize that as a parent, it is their duty, their responsibility to set an example for their kids. And they also know that their kids are going to copy absolutely everything that they do. They want to pass the healthiest habits that they've got onto their kids so that they grow up happy, healthy, confident, and capable. And then last but not least, number 10, they're humble. Just because these guys aren't flexing on social media, it doesn't mean that they're not doing the work. And truth be told, they might not even realize that they hold the keys to the puzzle. Maybe they just inherited the healthy habits and the healthy relationship with nutrition and movement from their parents or their friend group. Because you have to remember that we're the sum of our reference group, the people who influence us the most. They've also probably found a form of exercise or a sport that looks like work to you, but feels like play to them. But what ties all of this together is that these guys have found a system that works for them. A system that helps them stay consistent. A system that helps them make small gains that compound over time and lead to massive results. A system that makes the process fun. They're not copying what the 25-year-old influencers are doing. They know what works for their life, their body, and their routine. The meals are simple, the workouts are repeatable, and the plan they've got fits into their real life. If you want me to help you build a system like that, one that fits in your life and actually gets real results, just click the link under this video and check out the free 7-day fat loss accelerator. There's no strings attached, it's completely free, and I'm going to show you how you can burn 5 pounds of stubborn fat in the next 7 days, all without cutting carbs, counting calories, or having to live in the gym. And if you're serious about burning some stubborn fat, I'm confident it's the best place for you to start. So hopefully I'll see you on the inside. Click down there.